Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Ops Committee, the County Operations Committee. I am Commissioner Marita Davis Johnson, and I chair this committee. My colleagues who sit on the committee with me are Commissioner Robert Patrick and Commissioner Ladina Bowden. And we also have present with us today Commissioner Ted Terry. Welcome. With that, have either one of you all had an opportunity to read the minutes of the September the 16th meeting?
Yes. You want to go ahead?
You got it. You got it.
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are approved. We will have a status update now. And John, I'm assuming that status update is on the Bluebird?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And you all have these two big documents here.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have provided you with a very large spreadsheet.
And I'm sorry, I meant to say before we started the meeting that we have technical difficulties with the streaming today, so this is not streamed, but it is presented on DCTV. Is that correct, DCTV? And at a later date, they will do what, John?
Post the video online.
Okay, they
Yes,
will
ma'am.
post the video online. Okay, so thank you. Okay, continue, John.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, Commissioners. You have a very large spreadsheet from me. This spreadsheet is something that Central staff developed to help go through the standing procedural rules. This status update today is just to introduce you to this spreadsheet and lay out the plan for moving through the discussion of changes to our standing procedural rules. For the spreadsheet itself, you'll notice your version has two separate spreadsheets. At the top, the first spreadsheet starts with section and then original language. What I've tried to do is just lay out each section of the procedural rules. I laid out each section's original language, and then each column past that is each individual district's thoughts on the language.
Okay, John, I see that my colleague is having problems following the spreadsheet. Could you explain to him, like you explained to me, how these two pages coincide with each other?
Yes, ma'am. So
I mean, how these two sheets coincide.
let's do it like this. So you have your first one that says section in the original language, and then your second one that starts with District 4. So like this.
Oh, I got it.
Yes. It was a lie.
I got it.
It's a lie.
I got
He
it.
wants to pretend now he knew.
Oh, wait. Hold
But
up
he
now.
got it now. We good. I mean, I didn't understand it, so we good.
Okay. So again, I just wanted to introduce this to you all. I've spoken with each district individually about the changes that they wanted to make to the standing procedural rules. I've codified all those changes within this document. This document has been sent to the law department for their review. Our next steps for this item, I have this scheduled to come back on the November 4th Ops Committee meeting, and we will have a robust discussion then. I'm still working on exactly how we're going to get through this entire document, but when we come back on the 4th, I'll have a plan laid out for you all.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from committee members? Okay. Are there any questions or comments, Commissioner Terry?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I think I wanted to clarify one, I think we addressed it, but I just want to make sure it's captured in this document. It was related to the working groups and how we differentiate a working group in the language of the rules compared to a special call meeting, because that has been something that I think has been discussed, and practically speaking, I think several of us would like to have, flexibility to have a quote-unquote working group meeting where it wouldn't be a voting meeting in the special call sense.
Yes, sir. So I did review that question and the meeting that it came up in. That's part of the discussion that I'm going to have with the law department. We have a meeting scheduled the week after next. But those are some of the issues that we will work on with the law department in terms of crafting language to ensure that we meet the spirit of what commissioners want in the rules.
Okay, and that is, excuse me, and that is incorporated into the language. And I'm assuming that that was from District 6, and that's included in his comments.
It
for
is
District
included
6.
in the comment
Okay.
in this document, but
Okay.
I would like to be clear, we don't have all the language answers just yet.
Right.
So that's something that we will be working with the craft language with the law department, because in many instances we have, for lack of a better word, conflicting advice from commissioners on how we want to move forward.
Okay. Okay.
And so, Madam Chair, thank you for this very large spreadsheet. Are you requesting that, because I see that, each district column, there's comments depending on which section and what district. So are we trying to ultimately discuss each item? I mean, is it possible that there's, a way to simply pull out the rule sections where, in essence, there's consensus already?
Yes, sir. That's part of what I'll be doing with the law department moving forward, because in many instances, you'll just, for example, presiding officer A, no one had any comments on that. So that's not something that we particularly need to discuss. But for B, I have multiple different comments. So I will work with the law department to ensure that the things that you all want are included in the rules. And if there is conflicting advice or conflicting recommendations, then those will be the things that we bring to committee to discuss.
Okay. And Madam Chair, when can we expect to, just go through the substantive changes? And are we trying to work out the consensus at the committee meeting, or are we trying to all meet with Mr. Manson and then he has to figure out where we all
Yeah, what we're
agree or
trying to
disagree?
do is first read this, because these are all of the comments that was made by commissioners. And so we first need to digest what comments are made in here. And I think the next step is submitting it to the law department. And, well, whether it's the next step or not, but it will be submitted to the law department.
been.
Then you will pull out what there's a consensus on, and we will be discussing it at every ops meeting until we get to a vote on how the Blue Book will change.
Yes.
And it's a 5 majority vote
Yes, ma'am.
on that. So
Okay.
we're going to discuss it. This is a large, very large document. And then it goes to the essence of our rules. And so I want to make sure that, so we don't have to come back to this next year, I want to make sure that it's addressed, everyone's concerns are addressed, the consensus is made to us, so we don't have to spend time on that. And so I think that John has presented an excellent path to getting to the end, and we will be discussing this each ops meeting until we're ready to vote on it.
Okay, so so the remainder of the ops meetings this year, we're gonna just like go through a section at a time?
Yeah, I mean, if it takes us to the beginning of next year, we're going to be going through this until we can all get to a consensus and say we're ready to vote.
Okay. Madam Chair, one thing I'll just note for the record, you know, I understand we're doing a pretty exhaustive review because this is literally every single line in the rule book.
No, this is simply every concern that commissioners
I think this is every
given
line,
us.
isn't it?
It is every line.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but
some
I'm
are
saying-
blank, so
yeah,
there's not
but
anything
is
to
it-
change.
Yeah, and those that have not changed,
We don't
there's
need to
no
discuss. Right.
Okay.
objections.
Right, I'm glad that we're going through this. I would just like to remind everyone that my intention of bringing this up, I guess 2 years ago at this point, was I just wanted to change 2 words in the working group line. And I still think we could agree to make that change right now, and we could put it to a vote at the next BOC meeting, and we'd change the working groups just like that. All we have to do is delete the words in lieu of, and we've solved that issue. And now every committee chair will be at liberty to have a working group session, non-voting special call meeting, to then allow us more flexibility to do other things that shouldn't require
Okay,
a voting action.
right. So,
So I'd love to.
what
I'd
I
love to
would
ask
like
if
to
we
do,
could move
because
forward on
it
that.
was more than just you that had recommendations to the book. And since it was more than just one recommendation, I'm sure that everyone would like to pull theirs out and say, let's vote on this. But since it was several, I think everyone had recommendations except for District 4. Is that correct?
4 and 1.
4 and 1. So I would like to have a discussion on the whole, so that we can cover the whole blue book and we done with it. Now, I think you had Matthew, I think you had a comment.
Thank you, ma'am. I was just going to note that I did send a memo last week on the issues surrounding working group. And from my perspective, there would be issues remaining because there is no process for developing, assigning members, or how to establish that working group in the Blue Book.
Okay,
So from my
so-
perspective, additional changes might be
Okay,
needed there.
thank you. And that's the reason I wanted everyone's input, everyone's recommendation, and a detailed review. So when we go in and we're voting on each section that needs to be changed, we know we've have the background, we have what it was, what the recommendation is, and we'll be ready to move forward.
Madam Chair, just if I could just respond to that. Thank you for allowing me a brief comment. Again, like I'm totally fine with an exhaustive review. What I do have concerns about is that I think there's some things that we can reach consensus on quicker than other. And I think what has happened, and I've noticed this in this review, is that we have sort of undertaken a monumental effort, and it basically is like, it's the mindset that everything has to be perfect before we make any changes. And I simply would point out that the rules can be changed at any time simply by board action with 5 votes. And so if there were things that we clearly had consensus on, I think the working group one, and I hear Attorney Welch, I think there's a very easy way to deal with that. I believe that it's simply up to the discretion of the chair to decide that process. I think that's where the whole purpose of the working group rule is designed to give the chair flexibility. So if we overanalyze everything, we will continue to be talking about this for another year or two until we feel like we just get it right, when it might be more prudent to simply say, well, what are the things in the rule book that are holding us back from doing our work as a Board of Commission, hone in on that aspect, and then continue the process, right? We're always reviewing the rules, and there'll always be potential changes. But at this point, we have a lot to look through, and we could nitpick over one word and one comma and one sentence, but we might be talking about it for a lot longer than we want.
Well, I think that the chair has decided to do it this way.
Yes, ma'am.
To go on and change the rules that needs to be changed based upon the comments that I've gotten from all of the commissioners. And we're going to do this as expeditious as possible. And that's the reason first we need to read through it, see what's in consensus, and then we'll move on. I don't think we're going to nitpick, but I think that we are going to voice our concerns. So with that, John, I look forward to you coming back at the next ops meeting, and let's see what we have in consensus, and when you feel it's time to send it to
Yes, ma'am.
legal, let's do so. But I think that we're going to get through it. We're not going to nitpick, but we're going to make sure that it gets done as soon as possible. Okay.
And John, thank you, Madam Chair. And John, just so we know what we're reading as we go through it, what is the color code? The orange, yellow, and then it looks like another shade of yellow.
My apologies if there are two yellows, but the yellow are just changes, and the orange is where commissioners have requested new language.
Say that one more time. Yellow is a complete change, and
Yeah.
orange is just new language.
Yellow is a proposed change, and then orange is a request for brand new language
I
within
got
the
you.
rules. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And if you could send that to all of the commissioners, just because I think that was a good question, so that they will know and can identify the significance of yellow and orange.
Yes, ma'am. I'll send the Excel spreadsheet with a legend attached to it later today.
Okay. But you're going to resend this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, just so, because when you resend it, the only thing it's going to show is what the yellow depicts and what the orange depicts. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you all can continue to read this. So you don't have to, because I don't know if we have the paper to download it if we wanted to. So, I mean, just with those notations with the yellow.
Yes, ma'am.
And then if you have, if you could bring these sheets to the committee of the whole tonight for the ones that are not here, so that they will have this sheet. And if you could just do a little memo as to what the colors denote,
Yes, ma'am.
I think that would be fine.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, John. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
commissioners.
Okay.
If I may
Okay,
make
I'm
one
sorry.
quick comment, just to clarify the record. So I did give comments here. As you will see, it does say revert to original language. My belief is at the end of the day, the rules are there to help us at times, but at the end of the day, it does require us as commissioners to be able to sit and talk with one another to get to solutions. And so whatever we put on paper is one thing, but we still have to talk with one another to be able to move legislation forward. Even if it's legislation we don't like, we still need to be able to talk candidly with one another to keep things functioning. So ultimately, my point would be this. The blue book is fine the way it is. It is not perfect. Many texts that have been written and carried down throughout history are not perfect. But it does take people who have a willingness of the heart to talk and try and address those issues. Thank you.
I don't think that this is the Trump administration. We can talk to each other. Yeah, I mean, we can talk to each other. Yeah. I think that we're able to talk to each other because we have to agree to be disagreeable because all of us have our own separate opinions. Sometimes those opinions are shared by others. Sometimes they're not. And then to talk, when you talk, you may be able to convince someone of your shared opinion, and you can bring them to that point. But I think that all of us on the commission are able to talk to each other. And if there's a problem, what I do is take a deep breath, count to 10, shoot it out, and start discussions again. But I think that we're all able. And if me and Commissioner Terry are able to talk to each other and give each other a hug every now and then, you know, I'm sure that everyone else. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think that we're good with that.
And if I could just add as a final thing,
Okay.
if you were to look back at from committee level to Board of Commissioners, the overwhelming number of votes that we take end up being 7-0.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think we just need to reassess and re-engage with one another before we start taking big changes to the Blue Book.
We will.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We will. But I think we're good. Okay.
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay. Okay, thank you. The next item is agenda items, Board of Commissioners 2024-0842, all commission districts, resolution to review and amend the Board of Commissioners. Oh, we just did that. Okay, so that's going to be brought back at our next meeting. John, do we need to defer these items or are they standing coming back until we finish?
These items can be held in committee. You're speaking to 2023-1331. It can be held in committee, and I'll make the notation that it needs to come back. Would you like it to come back in?
No, we're talking about 842.
No, we're talking
procedural
about
rules. Okay.
0842.
I would request, because this will continue to come up on the BOC agenda unless we defer it, can we get a deferral to the last meeting in December?
Okay. I make a motion. No, I can't make a motion. Is there a motion?
I move that we defer item 0842 until,
December 16th.
okay, December 16th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, so that item is deferred to the December the 16th meeting with the anticipation that we discuss the status update at each meeting so that we can give it attention. Okay. So now we had previously heard items, the airport and 3331. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hey, so yes, with this item is the East Side of Aviation Development RFP proposal with Sky Harbor. The airport would like to request a 2-week deferral on this item. It was not our intention to ask for another deferral, but through long conversations with our consultant doing the air quality and noise study, as well as Sky Harbor, we'd like to request that 2-week deferral. We also will have HMMH. We would like to request that they be able to make a presentation of our East Side development analysis that was performed as a side part of the overall air quality and noise study. And
Would you like that analysis done in the ops meeting or the committee of the whole, or both?
In ops on,
In ops.
so 2 weeks on the 21st meeting.
Okay, okay. Okay, you can continue.
Oh, that's all that I have. But yeah, HMMH would like to be present to make a presentation of this East Side Development analysis.
Okay, are there any questions or concerns for committee members? Okay, Commissioner Terry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do look forward to the presentation on the environmental and noise study. And this is specifically to just this particular development proposal. Is there still like a larger?
There's a larger
study?
proposal. There's another item coming up
Okay.
in the agenda today that we'll have a request on that. And but yeah, this is just specifically towards the East Side Development, which is where Sky Harbor's proposal site is.
Okay. So I look forward to seeing that proposal. One thing I did want to just throw out there for commissioners' consideration, and would really encourage the administration to think a little bit more intently about this. As the county begins to receive development proposals of this nature that might cause some concern related to noise, environment, community impacts. I think it's really important that we develop a more clear community benefits agreement type arrangement
Got it.
for some of these types of proposals. I think that when you think about one community, whether it's North DeKalb, South DeKalb, Central DeKalb, there's inherently I don't know, I might support this project, but this project is in my backyard. Or it's going to impact me more than it would other parts of our community. And one of the notions that I think has been out there for many decades is this idea that if there is going to be an investment in a community in this regard, it's related to sort of tax revenue estimates in terms of what will be the financial benefit for the county, which provides countywide services, that there is the notion that there might be a more specific investment or direction of services in the immediate area. So for instance, if there were concerns about air pollution in any development, the natural conclusion might be, well, what does the healthcare system look like? What does it mean to plant more trees? In other words, it's a mitigating agreement that tries to take into account the financial benefit for the county, but also a clear commitment to an investment in the community that would be directly nearby a certain development. And this part of DeKalb County, is in obviously neighborhoods, so you might make the point that there might be noise mitigation investments that could be made. I might argue that investments in our healthcare system for communities that live in and around the airport might also be appropriate. So that's really what I'm looking for. And I think I've shared, this is maybe going like 3 years now, Zach, I think when Sky Harbor first kind of sort of popped up as a possibility, just how other airports that have saw expansion efforts or new types of development projects where community benefits agreements were negotiated, either with community members or sort of a larger group of stakeholders. So there's a very clear benefit that would come out of certain proposals. And I'm just speaking generally, but since this one's before us, I think it would be good if, and I mean like serious, like I appreciate that, we're like talking about doing like a training program for pilots. And that kind of seems like a nice little thing, but I'm thinking about if something's gonna be in our community for 50 years, what's the investment in the immediate community for the next 50 years?
Sure. So,
And thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Terry. And I do understand what you're saying. And, you know, I would like to say, though, when you, on the other side of that, too, is when you move into an area where there's an airport, you know, I mean, you have to be concerned about the noise level, the impact, and all of that when you move into the area and the expansion. So I think it's very important that we do make sure the health and safety of our citizens around that area is addressed.
Absolutely.
But I think that they were aware also of concerns when they moved in the area near an airport. I mean, just like the airport is expanding at Hartsfield-Jackson. So if I move near Hartsfield-Jackson, I'm going to have some concerns. And I'm going to try to address as many of those concerns as possible before I sign my deed. And then, and I'm sure that Hartsfield-Jackson is talking to the people that, at that point, decide to move into the area, that we're going to protect your health and your safety. And if you have questions, talk to us. And I'm sure that you all are open to those discussions.
Yes, ma'am.
As well.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm sorry, Zach.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just going to make a brief acknowledgement of Commissioner Terry's comments. We definitely agree wherever there's opportunity to have meaningful long-term community investments or community benefits, we want to make that happen. And you acknowledge that Sky Harbor in their proposal did have some training and such, but you know, once we get further down, maybe there's other things they would be interested in providing. When you have revenues like what is being discussed, whether it's here or other potentially heavy tax generating operations, there may be opportunities to reinvest considerably into communities. So we hear you.
Okay, Commissioner Bolden.
Thank you. I had maybe a couple of weeks or so ago now a conversation with Sky Harbor, and one of the things that came up is that a 30-year is standard, and of course they explained that a 50-year would be to their advantage. Was there ever a discussion about a 30-year with the potential for renewal that could give them 50 years?
We've had several different discussions with them on how we could, I guess, negotiate some type of lease term that works for both sides. And I think that they were open to the idea of a 30-year with options.
Okay. And one of my concerns, or one of the reasons that I had that conversation with them is because they did share their intention to have programming that would benefit our community. And namely, you know, it was communicated the Tuskegee Airmen may be, or the Tuskegee Airmen would be a part of that programming. And so one of my thoughts was, with an upfront 50-year lease, how do we regulate or confirm that over the duration of that time, we don't lose that service or programming? Because probably none of us that are negotiating now will still be around to make sure that all of this is continued sustainably. So included in this contract, does it codify how those extracurriculars or programming or additional things will be regulated or ensured that they'll continue over the duration of the contract?
And
In addition to you, I'd like Zach to answer that as well.
okay. I was just going to state that we have not had any extensive communication on how the contract would be written, but that's something that we can definitely make sure is written into the contract. But I know that they have done this program at several other campuses across the country, and they've even used the Atlanta chapter for the Tuskegee Airmen as their guide to help establish those programs. So here in Atlanta, we actually have like one of the more prominent chapters, and so they actually, kind of serve as the basis for what they're doing at other locations. So.
Okay, Zach, do you want to comment on that as well?
Yes, I was going to say essentially what Mr. Hines said. In the contract negotiation, we will ensure that the county, any community benefits or anything that we've discussed is codified in the contract so that they're contractually obligated to, meet those objectives. Additionally, with 50 years from now, I will only be 107. So I'll probably be
So if, say for instance, we negotiate for a 30-year with a potential for a renewal, I would like us also to be able to get additional benefits if there is a renewal. So has that been a part of the discussion?
No, Commissioner, that has not, being that this was an RFP, right? And they, in their proposal, they proposed the 50 years. And so how we can negotiate or to what extent we can modify those terms, we'll have to get to the table and see, and in consultation, of course, with procurement and the law department, because we can only deviate so much from what they bid.
And what I'm getting at is if they get a benefit of a renewal in 30 years, there might be some new technology, some new opportunity, something else that we should be able to capitalize on if we're going to extend to them more of our time and resources and land and all of that amazing stuff. So I don't want us to just give this away over the course of 50 years.
Absolutely.
I want us to gain something over the next couple of decades as well. So I want us to start thinking about that.
Absolutely. And from my recollection, it's been a minute since we sat down to talk through this with them, but I do believe there is a premium, for lack of a better word, for the extension beyond the traditional 30 years. There is a premium that the county would receive, but we'll be able to articulate all that and ensure that it's in the contract.
Okay, I yield back.
Okay. Commissioner.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess following up with Commissioner Bolton's comments, so this was done as an RFP,
That's correct.
and so we're sort of constrained by the language that was in the RFP to begin with.
That's
then.
correct.
Okay. And then if you're going to have a conversation with her offline about some of the other benefits that were talked about, if you wouldn't mind sharing that with me as well, because that would be something very interested that I want to get into. The airport training, I think, is a phenomenal idea. I think that's the best way. If we could do 50 kids a year, run them through
The
their
aviation program?
The aviation program, absolutely.
We talked about that too. I'm trying to get
Absolutely.
everything I can get.
Absolutely. But I know there are some other needs
Within
at
the
the
law.
Within the law, yeah. And ethics. So, but yeah, if there's other opportunities for benefits for the counties to get out of that, I'd love to hear the conversation, see where you guys are leaning towards. I have said this since my Dorville days. The airport is a benefit to the county. It's a benefit to the region. And we should put some money back into the moneymaker so that it continues to be economically viable and a desirable place to be. So if that means additional structures somehow to pay for other improvements on the property, then let's have that conversation. I absolutely agree with you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Just real quick, and so just to clarify what I was getting at with the community benefits agreement, to me, this is not necessarily an agreement with Sky Harbor. It's with us and what we're committing to. So if the estimates are to be believed, $211 million over 50 years coming directly to the county commission, some of it's Chambly, some of it's the school system, so it's about $4.2 million annually. Now, presumably they can't build this thing like right away, so I don't know exactly sort of the ramp, like when actually it's on the tax rolls, it might actually be, 47 years of revenue.
Right.
Well, I don't know exactly. So that, I would maybe tweak the estimates a little bit so it's just more clear about if something's approved, when does something actually get built and is on the tax rolls by January 1st of whatever year we're talking about. But if the commitment from the, like, what is the ability, and this is where the law department can certainly advise us on, is what is the ability either through a development fund, sort of a segregated sort of accounting, or a payment in lieu of taxes. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of different structures out there that I believe are pretty standard. And I'm going to come back to noise, health, environment. And, again, I haven't, have you sent us the study results?
I'm sorry?
Have you sent us the study results?
So we don't have the full study yet.
Well, but you have something to
So
present.
the technical analysis, no, I've got that, and I was prepared to hand out copies of that to you after this meeting.
Okay, right. So I don't know what it says, so I'm riffing here, but I mean, I guess a layman's view says, yeah, there can be some impact. Now, I don't know what their study's going to say.
Okay, well, why don't we read the study? Let's give them out. We can read them, and then in our next, if this is deferred,
And yeah, ideally, you'd have
come back.
the analysis. You can
Yeah.
review it over the next couple of weeks, and then
Okay.
HMMH, who actually performed the
Yeah.
analysis,
Right.
they'll be here to answer any questions
Right.
and kind of break
Okay,
down
which
what it
is
says.
really good. So the sooner we can get that, the better, so that we can start reading it. Okay, we're going to move on. Any other questions from committee members? Okay. Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
so much. Okay, so do we have a motion?
Motion to defer for 2 weeks back to committee?
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next one is 250376, all commission districts, development of child care reimbursement policy and pilot program for the Board of Commissioners. And you want to talk on that and follow up with Zach?
Just briefly, Commissioners, staff has developed an updated policy and language based on the requests out of committee. It's in your packet. I have some extra copies being printed now so that you can review it. But staff is requesting a deferral, at least a 1-month deferral for review by the committee.
Okay, does the administration have any comments on it?
So yes, the original item, and I really believe the one that's before you, is a pilot project for the Board of Commissioners. And in previous meetings, we had discussions about expanding this throughout the organization. And so we went back and took a look at that. We conducted a family benefits survey of approximately 6,000 employees, and we can provide the results, but about 1,362 employees completed the survey, which was a pretty good response rate, and we can break out how that went. But after not only reviewing the survey, extensive conversations, the administration is not at a point to recommend moving forward with this for the county employees writ large. And that's in large part because of the economic conditions that we are all observing. And we have a period of uncertainty where we are not looking to add any new programs, without really a clear understanding and an absolute determination that that is a must. So a lot of the things that the administration is going to be looking at in these economic times will be what are those core mission critical responsibilities that we must do, and then other things will take a back seat to that. We're evaluating what will happen with the shutdown, what will happen post-shutdown as it relates to our grant funding and things like that. So we're just not in a position to recommend allocating monies to do this countywide.
Okay, and I will say, as the spouse of Congressman Hank Johnson, I try to be attuned to what's happening, and not only as his spouse, but as an attorney and as a commissioner. But more so, I'm a little bit more privy to information, and I do agree with what Zach is saying. I know the need may be there, but these are true economic uncertain times. We don't know what jobs are pulled. We don't know what programs are pulled. We don't know what grants are pulled. We don't know if DeKalb would even get the money. Well, I do know that DeKalb has not gotten a lot of the money that was allocated through the Biden administration because they will not release the money. So we have to be economically sound here, understanding that the administration that we're dealing with that change from 1 minute to the next, and see where our footing is. And so I can agree with that assessment because we have to keep services flowing for the citizens of DeKalb. I think that you had a comment, and Commissioner Bolden, did you have a comment?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, let Commissioner Robert Patrick make his comment, and then I'll come to you.
So my only concern with this has been having this extend to county staff as well. So that's really my primary concern. I guess just to give a little bit of pushback, as someone who's had 3 children, I would say that childcare pre-pandemic was phenomenally expensive. I'm assuming it's not gotten any bit cheaper like anything else that's out there in America right now. So to me, it seems like if we're looking to attract perhaps a younger cohort of employees, this might be a very effective avenue to incentivize people wanting to work for the county, aside from the fact that we're a great place to work to begin with. But I guess just a thought to put into the administration's ear that, we do want to attract good people to work here, and an incentive like this, if I was still looking for a job outside of being a county commissioner, that's the kind of thing that I would say, apples to apples. Do the counties offer these things as an incentive for me to want to work there? And so if we offer it, we're more competitive. If we don't, we become less competitive. And that would be my advisory suggestion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And I would say that the incentive to work here is a paycheck and a job. Because people are getting laid off by the droves.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that.
They're saying now, the Trump administration is saying now, for those that are on furlough, he may lay them off without giving them back pay. So I support what you're saying, Robert. And I understand that, but people are out of work. People are not getting paychecks.
I'm very familiar.
And did you see how many jobs was lost just last month? And now we won't even see the number for October because the government is shut down. So I'm saying that all of that is good, but people need paychecks, and people want their trash picked up. So the incentive right now in this environment is a paycheck every week.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a brief statement since this was an initiative that I brought to the board a year ago. And so I'll just, as a quick aside, I will just express my frustration of trying to do a pilot program and being delayed in implementing a pilot program while the administration thought about this, and for wait 8 months for y'all to think about it, to only come to us now and say you're not going to do anything. But that's okay. The Board of Commissioners is our own entity. We have our own budget, and we can decide what we want to do and what we think is best for our employees. Now, just as a clarification of the agenda item, this actually is a dependent care pilot program. While it is true that child care is a big part of that, the key factor is dependent care. And I'll get to that, why that's important in a minute. So I do want to speak in favor of the dependent care pilot program. This is forward-thinking, it's compassionate, and I would argue fiscally responsible, and it reflects the real needs of our workforce and the values of DeKalb County. The budget fiscal impact for just the Board of Commissioners staff is less than $150,000 a year. I think it's actually a lot less than that. I think it's $10,000 a month. So we have the opportunity to support our employees who are balancing work while caring for children, aging parents, or other dependents. So it's more than a child care policy. It's about creating the infrastructure that our employees need to care for the people who depend on them. Whether it's a newborn or a parent facing memory loss or chronic illness. According to the Pew Research Center, over half of working parents report that finding backup care in a crisis would be very difficult. But it doesn't stop with parents. Millions of workers in this country are part of the, quote, sandwich generation, which means they're caring for both young children and aging parents. That includes many of our own county staff. When you provide flexible, affordable support for dependent care, we don't just meet a human need, we actually solve a workforce challenge. The Pew research shows that overwhelming public support for paid and dependent care programs, with over 90% of Americans recognizing their benefits to the families, and 65% noting that the positive effect on the economy is not to be understated. Also, the Urban Institute and the Brookings Institute confirm that employer support for dependent care programs improves retention, reduces absenteeism, and increases productivity. In other words, the pilot program pays off. In a time when public sector employers across the country are competing for talent, approving this pilot signals that DeKalb County is a place where people should want to work and stay. The program is flexible, fiscally managed, and deeply needed. If we approve it today, we could at least just start with our own Board of Commissioners staff. Again, it's a pilot program. We should pilot it out for a year. We'll learn a lot from this. We'll see, are there reduced absenteeism? Is there higher productivity? Do we fill slots in our own vacant staff that might exist in a quicker manner? It signals our commitment to a healthy, resilient, and overall supported county workforce. Now, let me just say this as well, and I really want to encourage the administration to rethink where they're going with this, because you have to think about the opportunity cost of having vacancies in certain departments. We heard, I guess it was a few months now, CO Williams, that code compliance has now moved to an extended schedule, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you tell me, if you are a code compliance officer in DeKalb County and you have just been told in order to keep your job, you have to work till 8 p.m. during your work day. What are you going to do for those 3 hours, typically, to take care of childcare? They didn't get a pay increase, so what are they going to do? What happens to our county budget when people leave the departments they work for because they're not supported as working families? What does that mean? Lower service delivery. It means higher response times. I won't even bring up the fact that E911 continues. Even though we were fully staffed in theory in E911, we are still hovering around a 75% response rate. That should give us all pause for concern. So if we want to support our county workers, increase retention, and support families, something that should be very, very popular with not only our constituents, but also ensuring that we keep a fully staffed workforce, this will pay for itself. It's the right thing to do. And while the administration certainly is, at liberty to decide how they treat their departments, we should move forward with this dependent care program. The survey has been done. Mr. Manson provided the results. How many employees would qualify?
Number of employees, about 15. Yes,
Okay, so 15 families, and it's not going to pay for everything. This is a small reimbursement. It's just meant to provide a little additional support. It ain't going to pay for all the child care, because child care is expensive, but it's going to help. And we have to think about those opportunity costs of supporting our workforce, keeping retention, and ensuring high productivity. So I would encourage us to just move forward with the resolution as written. We have the staff for months now have laid out the program very clearly. There's an affidavit process. It's reimbursement. You have to have receipts. You have to prove you have children or a dependent. It's a legal document, and it's a pilot. And we could simply fund this right now. We could pass the resolution with the budget amendment, and let's just see how it goes. We can check in 6 months. We can check in with our employees, see how things going, see if it makes their lives a little easier. Does it reduce absenteeism? Do they feel more productive? And do they even want to stay in the job? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to try to move this agenda forward. But I would just like to end with this, and I don't disagree with what you're saying, Commissioner Terry and Commissioner Patrick. I think it's something to consider. But the reality of where we are right now is a whole nother different matter, because we have essential services that we have to provide to our county. And if we do a resolution to enrich or reimburse the commissioners, I just think that we should wait into better economic times. And you stated it's been a year. I think it can be submitted during the budget request. Let's see, if you want to submit it for a budget request, then fine. But at least by then we can see where we are. In bad economic times, I would not want to pass a resolution. The government is shut down. People are being laid off. I'm already getting calls saying my trash need to be picked up. And so, for service, I'm getting calls. And so, I would make a recommendation that this item be deferred until, I would say, until probably the end of the year, because it can be a budget. It's something that we can consider in the budget. Are there any other comments? Okay.
Just a follow-up. The recommendation initially was for 1 month. Is that November 4 ops?
We could do November 18th.
November 18. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
So defer to the November 18th Board of Commissioners meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. With a previous stop at ops?
It would come back to ops on the 4th. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Make a motion.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to defer this item until the Tuesday, November 18 BOC, with a prior stop, November 4th at committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item is Airport 251260. And that is a change order, all commission districts. You can read the number, air quality and noise assessment study at DeKalb Peachtree Airport for use by the DeKalb Peachtree Airport. This contract consists of providing data about the relative pollutants, noise emission, and air quality impact in the county. This request seeks to increase contract term through June the 30th, 2026, using remaining funds. Awarded to Harris Miller and Hanson, Inc., contract term increase only.
Hey, good afternoon
Okay.
again. This item is this is the overall full study for the air quality and noise assessment at the airport. So what we were requesting is a 6-month extension to the contract. Okay. Originally, this contract was set to expire on December 31st of this year. However, with trying to get some of the reviews that are built into the contract, primarily by the FAA and EPA, we've had some longer than expected review periods. And then, currently with the government shutdown, we expect there's going to be some further delays.
Okay,
So we are requesting that 6-month extension.
okay. Are there any questions? If none, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve 2025-1260.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that item is approved. Thank you. Facility management, 25, facility management, 25-1242, All Commission Districts, change order number 14, the contract number 1147259, elevator, escalators, walkway maintenance and mobilization services and related solutions for use by the Department of Facility Management. This contract consists of purchasing Ominous Partners contract number EV2516 for monthly preventive maintenance, inspection, testing, mobilization of the county's elevators and associated equipment. This request seeks to increase the contract terms and funding through November the 30th, 2029, awarded to Cone Inc., amount not to exceed $1,200,000. And good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Facilities Management is requesting to increase the contract term and funding for Kone Elevator. So this is to support all the elevators throughout the county to make sure they operate properly and safely.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner Bowden.
Yes, sir. Can you just explain what the difference is in what you're requesting here versus a couple months ago? I recall we voted on the contract for our elevators and escalators.
This is to increase the term through November 30th of 2029 through the Omnia agreement.
Yes, ma'am. Because if we just did it a couple months ago, why would we need to increase the term and amount?
All right, so the last time that we came to you guys specifically to increase for some work to be done for the elevators in a court.
Okay.
So today we're here because the Omnia contract has actually changed, and we would like to, and at that time that didn't occur. Today, we now know that the Omnia contract has been extended, and we would like to continue usage of it, and we're asking, can we also continue purchasing from it through the life of the Omnia contract, which is now 2029.
When you say the Omnia contract has been extended, you mean specifically with the courthouse?
No.
What do you mean?
So we are using the Omnia contract to do the work on the elevator, all elevators. Right. So the Omnia contract is a cooperative agreement.
Okay.
Oh, I should have said that first. See, my apologies.
Okay.
The Omnia contract is a cooperative agreement. So that expiration date that is being mentioned is Omnia's contract being extended through 2029. We
Gotcha.
currently are using that to do our elevator maintenance work throughout the county.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions? Do you have any questions, Commissioner Terry? Okay. Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve item 1242.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that item is approved. The next item is 25-1243, a change order number 2, all commissioner districts. You can read the numbers on call, roof maintenance, repair, and replacement service annual contract with 2 options to renew for use by the Department of Facility Management, Recreation Parks and Cultural Affairs, Watershed Management, and Fire Rescue. These contracts consist of roof maintenance, repair, and replacement services at county-owned facilities. This request seeks to increase the contract terms through December 31st, 2026, and fund for the replacement of roof sections of East DeKalb Police Precinct, upcoming projects, and ongoing maintenance and repairs. This request also seeks a reallocation of splash funds in the amount of $650,000 for other projects under Category 3B, awarded to Hawk Construction Company, LLC, and National Building Contractors, Inc., total amount not to exceed $2,727,085. And it seems as if we just talked about, or we just passed an item to repair the roof at the East DeKalb precinct.
Yes, I think that was for using SPOS funds for that purpose, but this is for actually increasing the contract terms and funding through December 31st of next year. That way it gives us the ability to do that project.
Okay, but this says, and funds for the replacement of roof sections of East DeKalb Police Precinct. We just passed an item for a new roof at East DeKalb Precinct. Can somebody talk to that?
Yep.
Huh? And the okay. Yeah. Didn't we just approve that? So I don't understand why that would be into
For
this.
SPOS funding.
Right, so the board approved the use of SPOS 2 funds to do the work at Bruce Street East Precinct. This is just to award that money to this vendor.
So it was not specifically awarded for the roof?
It was for the SPOS dollars, but that contract at that time didn't have SPOS dollars in it. So this puts the SPOS dollars into their contract, so it doesn't take away from the cap of the previously awarded facilities contract where they use their regular budget to do roof repairs. So it's just
So
adding the
with
money
that-
in to affect the work at Bruce Street.
Okay, so with the vote that we did then to repair the roof be null and void?
No, that vote authorized use of SPOS $2. This vote authorizes that contractor to use those dollars. And then the second part will allow Parks to use SPOS $1 to do additional concession buildings. It is a little confusing.
Okay, yeah, because the only thing that I'm not understanding, and maybe I'm missing something, is that we approved the item to replace the roof
Correct.
and just deal with the roof so that I
Correct.
can understand it. We passed an item to replace the roof at East,
Precinct at Bruce Street.
right. Now, this item is to fund the replacement of roof sections. So this seems like it's a repair when we've already funded for a new roof.
Correct. So we funded the new roof. This item puts that money onto Hawk's contract to do the work. So they're companion items. If that,
Okay,
They go hand in hand.
okay. Y'all understand that?
Same money. That's the other way to look at it.
I think the idea was the original contract set the money aside and said that this is the work that's
The
going to be
original
done.
contract, when it was awarded to Hawk, did not envision using SPOS $2. So the prior vote authorized SPOS $2 to be awarded. This just memorializes those dollars going to that vendor.
Okay. So it's not to repair the roof. Okay, it's not to repair the roof, but it's to replace
It's
the
a
roof.
replacement roof. Yes,
Huh.
we're not repairing, we're replacing the complete roof.
Okay, but this says the replacement of roof sections at East DeKalb Precinct. Shouldn't the language be changed then to replace the roof rather than to repair the roof?
It could be that there's different roof types out there, David. So it could be one section is a built-up roof, other section might be a multiply synthetic. We're doing the whole building.
Yes,
That's
okay.
Yep. That's a complete roof replacement. They're gonna take off the old roof and put a new one on, all the way down to the deck.
I think it is two types of roof.
Okay,
And I just want to confirm the buckets. So the 2 million comes from SPLOST 2 and the 650,000 is SPLOST 1.
Correct, for parks concession buildings.
this is,
Okay, from parks.
okay. So this is the item 25. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just wanting to read the item. 25, 11, 26. All commission districts authorizing $2,480,470 of SPLOST 2 funds for the roof replacement and HVAC unit replacements at DeKalb East Police Precinct located at 2484 Bruce Street. Now tell me how that differs from this.
I believe,
Didn't mention the contractor.
yes, this is for the actual contract itself. This gives us the ability to use the contractor to do the roof replacement. And it
Oh, it didn't mention the contractor.
yes, yes.
Okay, is that right, Demetrius? I don't see it now, but it doesn't mention the contractor. Is that what you were gonna say? It didn't mention the contractor? Okay, well then it seems to me that this is not written correctly.
So,
Okay, but it did say by on-call contractor, National Building Contractors.
and I'm only speaking towards the procurement information because what you've read off sounds like something related to the budget information and approvals for allocation of funding. Focus entirely on the agenda items submitted by purchasing and contracting. We actually have the named contract and vendor and what we were going to spend them with.
Okay.
And
I would like for you all, this is what I would like, for you all to look at this item number. Because we can come back to the next meeting on this for that. Is that correct? Okay. Okay. So I would like for you to look at this agenda item that was passed and look at the language, see what it's for. Because this has the contractor in here, National Builder Contractors. So if you could square that with this
Okay.
agenda item, then we can discuss it further and come back to the next meeting. And if you could give us that information before the meeting,
Okay. Yeah,
you
we can
know,
do that.
then we'll be ready to move. That's a lot of money, and this was a lot of money. And it identifies a contractor in here. And I don't think that this should be for the repairs. I don't think that it should be for the replacement of roof sections if we are replacing the roof.
Yeah, I think that probably that word needs to be taken out. It's a complete
Yeah.
roof replacement.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, if we can sort of
The 2 week.
get the two
Yeah.
and,
We
you
can
know,
do a
because
2-week
I
deferral.
think what procurement stated, who the contractor was, or somebody stated Hawks, but in this agenda item, it says the contractor is National Building Contractors.
Yes, we have two roofing contractors. One is National Building Contractors and one is Hawk.
Okay.
So the actual one that's doing East DeKalb is in National Building Contractors. They
Yeah,
are the
because it
ones that
says
run.
by on-call
are right.
contractor, national building contractor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you could just, bring us back an item, okay. Okay,
Madam Chair, it sounds like it's just maybe a couple of words that need to be changed to clarify the agenda item. So I think usually the committee can just forward it to the board, and by the next meeting, they could have that change made, and then we can get this roof repaired. Because, once they do a contract, they got to do all the paperwork, and, just delay it
okay.
unnecessarily, and if it's just a couple of words be changed.
Okay, I don't feel it's being delayed unnecessarily because we're talking about $2,480.70 that has already been approved. And then you're asking us to approve another contract for $2,727,080. So I don't think it's a minor adjustment. So I think you need to come back.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, what you're looking at, does it show the contract number?
Yeah, it has the contract. I mean, the agenda number.
The
item
contract number for that item, because maybe that's the difference. This one has the two contract numbers, 1309686 and 1309666.
Yeah, this one, but I don't see it on this one. So just come back and so that we can have a complete understanding because that's almost to the $3 million level.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I just want to make sure that we're consistent on that and we know what we're passing.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Did you have something? Nope. Okay, do you want to?
Madam Chair, just real quick, just for your reference, the change order request says $1,727,000 to be added to national building contractors for SPLOST project to replace roof sections at East DeKalb Police Precinct. Isn't that what we're doing?
Yeah, he's bringing it
Okay.
back. Thank you.
It's in the agenda.
Well, I want to be certain.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there a motion?
Yes, ma'am, I move to defer this item 1243 for 2 weeks. And that is October 21st.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, I'm past my time, Mr. COO. Is there any particular item that I can ask Earth Chair if we can take that is pressing? Because I'm already past mine.
Nothing that we heard of.
Okay, well, we'll add these to our next agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We'll hold all of these items in committee and have them on the October 21st ERPS committee.
Okay, he's putting his finger up.
That's a ratification. I just saw this one on the real-time tracks that we're working on.
Which one is that?
1310, but it's a ratification.
1310 is on page.
5. I think we're okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, then we're fine. Okay. So is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Is it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And we'll start ERPS at 2:30.